Lassiter Factor.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor, and with the Oscars right around the corner, or maybe the Oscars already happened, depending on when I finally get this video out. Either way, in honor of the Oscars, I thought now is a good time for the Lassiter Factor Movie Awards. I already did some special awards for TV, so now let's honor all my favorite movies of 2024 and some movies that wasn't as good but deserve some love anyway. But I always like to do special awards, it's a fun way for me to either praise or make fun of these movies some more. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, we are going to start with the genre awards, starting with the best animation, and that award is going to go to The Wild Robot. It may not be my favorite animated movie of last year, but objectively speaking, it is the best animated movie that came out last year. I mean, the animation is just perfect, it's crisp, the voice acting, the story, just a beautiful story. This was everyone's favorite animated movie of last year, and again, it's not my particular favorite, but it's objectively speaking the best of last year. Next is the award for best streaming movie, and unlike the best animated movie, which there could have been some potential choices, but this one right here, I do have some nominees. Some of these awards that I have, they may not always have some official nominees. I may have just picked one and that's just the winner, but this one I'm having a hard time trying to decide, but I do have a clear winner. But I do want to give some honorable mentions and some glory to Hitman, which was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and then Beverly Hills Cop 4, a sequel decades in the making and long overdue, and it's actually probably the best Beverly Hills Cop movie we've gotten in a long time. But the official winner of this award, I'm gonna give to Carry On. I really enjoyed this movie so much. It may be recency bias, but still, this was a fun, entertaining, modern action Christmas movie. This is the award for best blockbuster, and there are two nominees for this one, and that is Twisters and Bad Boys Ride or Die. But for me, I'm ultimately gonna give this one to Twisters, because this was just a fun, turn your brain off type movie. This was one of those movies that we don't get that much anymore. This was just an absolute fun time at the theater. And remember, as always, if you feel it, chase it. Is the award for best video game adaptation, and I already know what this one's going to be. The winner is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Like I said, these series of movies, they just get better and better with each movie. These movies understand the assignment, and Sonic 3 was just a fun time at the theater. Next is Best Sci-Fi Movie, and that award is solely going to go to Dune Part 2. Yeah, this movie was not only just as good, if not better than the first movie, but it was just a good movie all around and just a good modern sci-fi film right here. This is one of my favorites of 2024, and everyone did an excellent job both in front of and behind the camera. This was definitely a great modern sci-fi flick right here. Next is the award for best action flick, and that award is going to go to Bad Boys Ride or Die. That movie may not have gotten best blockbuster, but hey, it is the best action film in my book of 2024. As I said in my review of this movie, this is probably the best Bad Boys sequel since Bad Boys 2. This was not only a fun time at the theater, but it was also just a great Bad Boys film. It was just a all-around fun time. Will Smith is back. I mean, he never went away, but this movie definitely helped him get back in the public conscience and back on everybody's good graces. The chemistry between him and Martin Lawrence is still there. And then finally, for the genre awards, is best comic book movie, and there's only one choice. That is Deadpool and Wolverine. This is still questionable whether or not Marvel is back on top again, but this movie was definitely a good stepping stone back into it. Deadpool and Wolverine, this movie's going to receive way more awards, so I'll get more into it, but of course this is the best comic book movie of last year. And now these next set of awards are more so for acting, and the first one is Most Valuable Performance. And that award is going to go to Chris Hemsworth for Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. He was without a doubt the best part of that movie. I wish this movie was just a tad more successful, but anytime Chris Hemsworth came on the scene, he fucking nailed it. He clocked into work, he understood the assignment, and he just had a good time. Like I say this all the time, it's like everyone was right here, but Chris Hemsworth, he was like all the way over here. the MVP actor and MVP actress. And for actor, I'm gonna give that to Timothée Chalamet. I mean, he came out with Dune Part 2 and A Complete Unknown, which he's nominated for an Oscar for, and the movie itself is nominated for an Oscar. And shit, Timothée Chalamet, he has 2 movies that are nominated for Best Picture, both Dune Part 2 and A Complete Unknown, and he's nominated for Best Actor for A Complete Unknown. Like, that alone just is good enough for Best MVP Actor. And then for Best MVP Actress goes to Zendaya. Not only she was in Dune Part 2 with Timothée Chalamet and is nominated for Best Picture, but she was also in Challengers, which is a movie I wish got more Oscar love, but that is without a doubt my second favorite, well, as of right now, my second favorite movie of last year. It might change, who knows, we'll see. But Challengers, she was great in that movie. That was definitely the people's choice right there. These 2 actors ironically did a movie together, but in any case, both of these actors were in one movie together, and then they did multiple movies that came out throughout the week and are nominated for multiple awards. Next is the award for Best Comeback, and that award is going to go to Demi Moore for The Substance, who, at least from what I understand, hasn't really done a movie in years, and then she comes back, and not only comes back, but she is nominated for this performance right here, which is a commentary on women's beauty standards, and then it was a body horror type movie. This was a great film to come back in. Next is the award for Best Turnaround, and that award is going to go to Bill Skarsgård, who did Boy Kills World, which is a movie that I wish got a lot more attention, and then he did The Crow, which was less said the better, and then he comes back with Nosferatu, where he played Count Orlok. Now that is a turnaround right there. Award for Best Performance That Never Had a Chance, and that award is going to go to Kingsley Ben-Adir, who played Bob Marley in the Bob Marley movie One Love. I remember this movie came out at this point a year ago, back in February, and of course everybody forgot about the movie, but he without a doubt put in a great performance as Bob Marley, and I low-key wish his performance in that got a little bit more Oscar love, but hey, that's what happens when you release a movie of this caliber early on in the year and then people forgot about it and it's not in the public consciousness, and then it gets snubbed for a couple of awards. But if you have not seen Bob Marley One Love, watch it just for his performance as Bob Marley alone. And now we get into the more silly awards. These are the silly awards that I've come up with, so let's get into it. And the first one is Best Unintentionally Funny Line, which actually does have some nominees that I do want to highlight. And oh yes, there are a lot of unintentionally funny lines this year, even going back to early last year with Madam Web with the line that was in the trailer but wasn't even in the movie, where they say,
"He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died."
Hell, Tyler Perry even managed to come out with 2 things that had lines that were not necessarily, the line wasn't funny, it was just the delivery of it. We got Tyler Perry's Divorce in the Black, when Corey Hardrick says,
"Do you want to lose your job, bitch?"
And then his little miniseries on Netflix, Beauty in the Black.
"Nigga, I'm a chemist with a PhD."
And the reason that particular line is funny to me is just a little inside joke, because there's a Kanye West song where he says, "I have a PhD, a pretty huge dick." So anytime I hear somebody say PhD, I just automatically go to that. And then of course what he says in that, when he says, "Nigga, I'm a chemist with a pretty," you get the point. But the best unintentionally funny line I'm going to give to Glenn Close for The Deliverance. We all know the line I'm talking about.
"I can smell your nappy pussy."
Next is Best Surprise, and I'm gonna give that award to Transformers 1. They made a Transformers movie that was animated, the first one that was animated in decades, and not only with it being animated, they took advantage of the Transformers universe, but they made a Transformers story that was actually good. It hooked you emotionally. To me, this was the biggest surprise of last year. The award for biggest failure, and that award is going to go to Joker Folie à Deux. You have a sequel to a highly acclaimed movie from 5 years ago. Whether you think it was needed or not, that's up to you to decide, but they decided to make it a musical. I was curious, but willing to see how they do this, and then we got the movie, and Whew, yeah, such a huge failure. This movie fails on so many things. It fails as a Joker movie. It fails as a musical. Todd Phillips, he basically used the movie to denounce the success of the first movie, which clearly didn't work. And the movie failed at the box office. Next is the social media movie, and this award is going to go to Deadpool and Wolverine. I told you Deadpool and Wolverine will receive some more awards, and this is one of them. After this movie came out, it blew up all over social media, from clips to memes to lines. Wolverine going the fuck off on Deadpool, everything with Gambit. There will always be one blade, just all the fourth wall breaks and meta references in this movie. And once this movie came out, everyone had fun with it on social media, particularly TikTok. Next is the award that I like to call the...
I mean, it's alright, like... overrated as fuck, in my opinion.
Award. And I'm gonna give this award to Longlegs. Look, I'm sorry, alright? Objectively speaking, it's a good movie. I like what the movie was going for, but honestly speaking, this movie I just couldn't vibe with this movie. I think this movie is just a tad overrated. Nicolas Cage was just being Nicolas Cage in this movie, and the vibe and the slow pace of this movie just didn't work with me. Next is the award for Best Action Sequence, and I'm gonna give this award to Boy Kills World, the final fight. This is the action scene that solidified this as one of my favorite movies of last year. That scene, it was intense, it was bloody, it was high-paced, it was over the top, and all three players within this fight was fighting their ass off. This fight had me on the edge of my seat, and when people started losing, like, I was legit scared. I was getting worried for them, but then Bill Skarsgård, he came back in the end. He came back victorious. Next is what I like to call the I can't believe we got two of these in 1 year award. And I'm going to give that award to Mr. Tyler Perry for giving us two bad Tyler Perry movies in 1 year. Mea Culpa and Divorce in the Black. Now, we all know Tyler Perry, he has good work ethic, but at what cost? To the detriment of the quality of his work. He gave us two bad Tyler Perry movies. Granted, they're fun to watch at times, just to watch and see how much of a train wreck they be, but Tyler Perry, come on, I'm gonna need you to do better. And did better he did, which brings me to the next award, which is the It Didn't Suck award, and that award is gonna go to 668, which is another Tyler Perry film. It is a period piece. It's a wartime movie that was made by Tyler Perry, and he actually treated this story with respect in the performances all around. It's not all doom and gloom for Mr. Tyler Perry. I just shitted on him, and now I'm gonna I just flipped that and gave him some praise. So hey, more power to him. Credit where credit is due. Next is the Great Idea Piss Poor Execution Award, and this award is going to go to the Magical Society of Magical Negroes. I had high hopes for this movie, and then I went to go see it, and I just left disappointed. It had a great concept, but the execution just wasn't there. Next is the Nobody Asked for This award, and right now it has two nominations, Roadhouse and The Crow, but I'm ultimately just going to give this to The Crow, because Roadhouse, while we didn't ask for this, it still has some entertainment value, whereas with The Crow, it just did not have any entertainment value. We have the original Crow from 1994, it's still there, it's perfect the way it is. Nobody asked for this, and after multiple sequels after that original film, we try to reboot it. Bill Skarsgård didn't do this movie any favors, as I said earlier. FKA Twigs didn't do this movie any favors. Nobody, both in front of and behind the camera of this movie, didn't do this movie any favors. This is one of the most unnecessary movies that nobody asked for. Next is the last award I'm probably going to give Deadpool and Wolverine, which is the Needle Drop Award. And the Needle Drop I'm specifically referring to is the opening credits of Deadpool and Wolverine, where they have N-Sync Bye 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 playing in the background. And as a child of the 90s and early 2000s, that song basically struck a chord with me. I loved it. No Strings Attached by N-Sync is a guilty pleasure album of mine because it was one of the first CDs I ever got. And so hearing that at the beginning of Deadpool and Wolverine just made me smile like a damn doofus. And it was just perfect for the brand of Deadpool as well. Next is what I like to call the award for successful movie that has me worried about the future of Hollywood. And I'm going to give that award to Moana 2. And the reason I'm giving Moana 2 this award is because this movie was not intended to be a sequel. It was supposed to be like a series, but then Disney at the 11th hour, they decided, hey, let's just turn this into a movie and hire some people to add some extra scenes and some songs and then turn it into a movie. And then when you see it, it's clear that this was not meant to be a movie. And as of right now, last I checked, this movie has made $1 billion. And that's not also to mention that this movie has a live action remake in the works that's supposed to come out next year. And the movie's, at that point, the original movie will be 10 years old. So this more so has me worried about the future of Disney. And it's just like audiences just keep giving money to mediocre movies. And I don't know. Next is the award for Best Franchise Comeback. And this award is going to go to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The recent Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy is fantastic in itself. And then it took a couple of years off, and then they came back with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, taking place 300 years after the events of that trilogy. And it's like, how are we going to go on from here? But they found a way. And while it's not as good as the previous 3 movies, it's a good start for a brand new trilogy of movies. And everyone did an excellent job with this, and I am here to see how basically this trilogy of movies unwinds. Next is the Shameless Act of Nepotism Award, and this award is going to go to Mr. M. Night Shyamalan, who basically used this year to not only promote himself, but promote his daughters. First, he had his daughter, Ishana Night Shyamalan, who made her directorial debut with The Watchers, and then he came out with his own movie, Trapped, in which that movie features his other daughter, Salika Shyamalan, who is a good singer, don't get me wrong, and I did enjoy Trapped at times, but it's just the fact that he basically used the plot of this movie to promote his daughter's singing career. Next is the Movie You Forgot About Award, and this award is going to go to Kung Fu Panda 4. Yeah, people remember Kung Fu Panda 4? No? Really? Okay. I mean, look, I like the Kung Fu Panda movies, but this is also one of the movies that I don't think nobody really asked for. I mean, the way the third movie ended, it ended as perfect as it could, and then it came out with a 4th movie, which I was open to, but the movie itself, fun, but not as good as the previous 3 movies. And it also doesn't help that this movie came out early last year, and then we got way better animated movies since then. To me, this is just one of those movies that just kind of flew under people's radar. Next is the award for the movie that didn't get enough attention, and I'm giving this award to Exhibiting Forgiveness. I recently watched this movie and it was amazing. It was fantastic. Solid performances all around. I love the filmmaking. I love the themes and the messages within this movie. I just wish this movie just got a little bit more attention, particularly from all of the awards. And finally, for the silly awards is the best movie you didn't watch. And I'm giving this award to Piece by Piece, which is one of my favorite movies of last year. And yet people didn't go out to the theater to go see it. It flew under people's radar. And yes, it's about Pharrell. It's a biographical documentary, but it's in the style of Legos, which I think may have thrown people off, but it was still a good movie. And if you're a fan of Pharrell and his music, this is a great celebration of him and his career, and you should definitely go watch it. And on top of that, it's a good little animated Lego movie. You definitely should watch it if you're an animation fan. Please go see this movie. And now I have 2 more awards left. Don't worry, people, home stretch right here. The second to last award is the studio that had the best year, and this award is going to go to Disney. Previously, in 2023, Disney had a disastrous year in terms of box office. I mean, of course, they had some hits here and there with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but Indiana Jones 5 was a flop. Wish, which was supposed to be their animated movie in celebration of their 100th anniversary, that was a flop. Elementals, which did catch on, was also a flop. The Marvels was a flop. Ant-Man Quantumania was a flop. Not to mention The Little Mermaid. All around, Disney had a very disastrous 2023, and then they came back in 2024 with 2 movies that made $1 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine, Moana 2, despite my criticisms. Mufasa the Lion King, which has his problems. Box office wise, it's getting there. And Inside Out 2, which also made $1 billion. I don't think this year gets Disney out of the rut that they were in the previous year, but this was a great step in the right direction, and let's just see if they continue that in 2025. But judging by the box office for Captain America Brave New World, not looking too good, but the year is still young. And finally, the award for the studio that had the worst year, and I'm giving that award to Lionsgate. Yeah, this was not really a good year for Lionsgate. I mean, The Crow, which I mentioned earlier, they had Borderlands, which in my opinion is the worst video game movie that came out last year. Then you got Never Let Go, which was a nice little film for Halle Berry, but could have been better. Killer's Game, Armor, Arthur the King, The Strangers Chapter 1, Miller's Girl. Lionsgate had so many movies that just didn't do too good, and it was a disastrous year for them box office wise. But that concludes the Lassiter Factor Movie Awards. Thank y'all so much for watching. What did you think of these awards? And do you have any movies that you would have given a particular award to? Let me know in the comment section below. Tell me what you think of this show. This is your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.